Welcome back. House Republicans already getting to work on President Trump's mission to cut wasteful government spending. Oklahoma Congresswoman Stephanie Bice introducing a new bill called Decreasing Overlapping Grants Efficiency Act. That's the so-called DOGE Act. It's tracking down redundant government grants. It comes as the Biden administration is telling Congress they will forgive nearly $5 billion in economic loans to Ukraine. Forgiven. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie already introducing a resolution to overturn that cancellation of loans. Joining me now is Maryland Congressman Andy Harris. He's the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus and a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Congressman, what do you know about this? The Biden administration wants to just forgive all those loans that we sent to Ukraine?
Yes, we suspected that was going to be the case when the loans were announced. That's ridiculous. Look, keep the loans on the books. If Ukraine recovers, that they have the ability to become an economic entity, and they should be able to repay the loans.
That's incredible to me. He wanted to forgive student loan debt, now forgiving loans to Ukraine, and yet American citizens are wondering, why they keep being held, holding the ball. What is your expectation of canceling that idea to cancel the loan?
Well, unfortunately, I think there are too many people in Congress who think that that's a good idea. But that's the way Congress operates. Congress operates spending other people's money, and they don't mind doing it.
Yeah. Speaking of spending other people's money, I want to get your take on appropriations. You've got the budget reconciliation coming up. We're less than a month away from a possible government shutdown on December 20th. And the Speaker is pushing for a continuing resolution, which would extend the deadline into early 2025 and into Trump's second term. I know you want to attach the SAVE Act to any government funding bill. The SAVE Act requires voters to provide proof of citizenship when voting in federal elections. How confident are you that you will be able to attach the SAVE Act here?
Well, I'm hoping that President Trump takes the same position he did earlier in the fall and urge Congress to attach the SAVE Act. It's obvious from our elections that people have little faith in some of the elections because illegal aliens basically are able to register and vote because some states don't require proof. That's ridiculous, and we should attach it to the funding bill. And look, if the Democrats want to once again prove to the American people they think illegal aliens should vote, let them prove it.
That's unbelievable. Look, I mean, the last time the GOP used reconciliation, you had an 18-seat House majority. Now you're going to have a much smaller majority. You've got no room for error until some of these vacant seats are filled by special elections in New York and in Florida, among others. So there are questions there. How does this play out?
Well, you're absolutely right, Maria. The fact of the matter is that we have to get broad agreement among all the different elements of the GOP conference in order to advance a reconciliation bill. That being said, I think Mr. Trump is going to be able to shepherd people from all parts of the conference to get behind the work that needs to be done to deliver on his agenda to the American people. So
are tariffs going to be included as offsets? I mean, the last time Congress passed a tariff was when? 1930? Smoot-Hawley? All right. So,
well, that certainly was when we passed attempted broad tariffs. But I do think some tariffs will be part of this. I think some tariffs are in order. I think some foreign governments take advantage of the trade balance with the United States to our detriment.
So how significant will tariff revenue be then in this budget end here?
Well, some of that will depend on what the president asks for and how much income we need to pay for things like securing our southern border to make sure that we are energy leaders in the world. I mean, some of these things will cost dollars, and tariffs are one way to do it. We also will have to pay for some of the president's tax cuts. That's what the president talked about, shifting some of the tax burden to tariffs instead. So all that's going to be worked out, in the coming months.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you about that, because I've asked President Trump about this a number of times. He wants to have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, et cetera, et cetera. How do you pay for that? And he's made the case that when you lower taxes, you have a larger swath of people paying in, and that sparks growth. Is that what you're counting on? How do you pay for all of this?
Well, certainly the tax cuts involved in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the act we passed years ago, that certainly did stimulate economic development. Some of the president's tax cuts he's suggesting are less stimulatory, but again, very popular. For a tax on tips, for instance.
President-elect Trump is really building out this administration in lightning speed, selecting Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be Health and Human Services Secretary, as you know, also choosing Dr. Mehmet Oz for CMS Administrator in charge of Medicaid and Medicare services. Trump also reportedly considering Johns Hopkins surgeon Dr. Marty Makary to head the Food and Drug Administration. Congressman, you were a physician at the Johns Hopkins Hospital and a medical officer yourself in the Naval Reserve before coming to Congress. What do you make of these picks in terms of health care?
I think they're great picks. I think I've worked with Dr. Makary when I was at Hopkins. He's brilliant. He'd make a great choice for FDA commissioner. And the bottom line is that all three of them agree that we have to make America healthy again, and they agree on that. That's a substantive change because, again, our policies in the United States really have not resulted in a healthy America.
So in terms of this overall cabinet that President Trump is putting together, how confident are you that he gets his picks through and they get confirmed by the Senate? What do you think?
I think all the ones that are on the table now will be confirmed by the Senate. You know, look, senators always have some doubts, but in the end, I think that you know, Pam Bondi is going to be confirmed as Attorney General, and I think you go down the list. I think the rest of the nominees will be confirmed. For some of them, they're going to have to do some hard work shepherding the Senate votes, but I think they get there in the end.
Yeah, Congressman, in terms of allocating taxpayer dollars, where do you see the big priorities right now going into 2025?
Well, we certainly have to control the southern border. There's no question about it, Maria. Look, the president won now a second term running on securing the southern border. We're going to have to do that. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to tackle these huge budget deficits that occur because the overspending in the past 3-4 years has been tremendous. Literally $2 trillion budget deficits cannot be tolerated.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But, you know, money is tight. And in terms of when you say secure the southern border, what's the money allocated to that? What do you mean? I mean, this is a national security issue, right? Is this also an economic issue to you?
It's certainly a national security issue. As you know, there are over 1 million deportation orders that exist right now. So the first thing we should do is we should enforce those deportation orders. Maria, this is a country of law and order. The bottom line is we have over 1 million people with an active deportation order. That's going to cost some money. We're going to have to deport those individuals. Going beyond that, we are going to have to reflect on what the effect on the economy is as you expand deportation. But again, this is a country of the rule of law. And people who break the law, I'm sorry, you're not really invited into this country.
Yeah, understood, sir. All right, Congressman, we're going to be watching your work, certainly. Andy Harris, good to see you this morning.